Pashaparo, YNet7. Thank you for tuning the replay. All right, y'all. So, you know me. Like I say, sometimes things come up. You gotta go do what you gotta do. So, this ain't one of them channels where I'll be on here every week at Thursday at 6 p.m. No, subscribe. You know, and get the notification bell. That way, when videos come out, you'll be made aware of them. All right, it's that simple. So there's a lot going on, but shout out to the Virgos out there. It's your season. It's our season, and we've been telling people for a while. Prepare. Things is coming, changing. Don't do this. Don't do that. You know, but people have their emotional attachments to what they have their emotional attachments with, and a lot of them are finding out now maybe why you were telling them things 2 years, 4 years ago. So I want to start off with a quote today that says, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." So I did a video about masks. I've talked to a lot of people in daily interactions about it, and some people just like going along with the flow, doing what everybody else is doing, and they don't stop to think about the ramifications of their own actions. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are being judged or being ridiculed or had the police called on them, being kicked out of stores, what have you, all under the pretense of not wearing, let's say, a mask. We'll start here. When in your pursuit of liberty and life and happiness, it's not really defined that you need to wear a mask. You weren't born with one. So that's an issue of great controversy, because the emotionally attached people, the people that whose emotions have been weaponized against themselves and against the public, have been brainwashed into wanting you to wear a mask for the greater safety of people and all this stuff, this, that, and the other. But when they look at history, tuberculosis killed more people than whatever you want to call this, a pandemic we're in now. But they weren't worried about masks then. They weren't worried about all this other stuff. So if you just look at the history of outbreaks and diseases and regular stuff that you live with every day that goes on, from a disease control standpoint, you got to kind of ask yourself, why this, why now? So anyway, I warn people that you start off with a mask today, and what is it next week, next month, next year? And a lot of people didn't grasp where that was going. But your human rights, as listed there, is inherent to all beings, regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. See, if you join the cult, you follow the cult's rules and you do what the cult do. But when the cult forces you to join the cult, that's where you're starting to infringe upon other people's rights. Okay? Nobody should have to be forced to believe what you believe. They got you believing in fear, and you want everybody else around you to be afraid too. When the fuck was that legit? All right, when did that start? Okay, it started with those people a long time ago, and that's why they're able to easily walk into this situation and expect you to walk with them. Now, human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more. Now, I know some of you guys are like, Pasha, what are you up to now? And I'm gonna show you. Okay, I'm just gonna cover a few topics, right? You know what I'm saying? Have some fun. Put some comments in below. I know what's driving me to say this. Put your comments in there. Let me know what you think. You know, and you representing 60,000 people yourself just from speaking on it. You know, you have the right of freedom of opinion and expression, whether you talking about truth, facts, or lies. Okay? So I just needed a break for a minute, man, because you give people all this information, and when you see what they do with it, sometimes you're just so disappointed that you gotta be like, do I even want to continue giving people information? Is it even worth it? Are they really listening? Do they do anything with it? But you know, those one out of however many people that you do reach, that's what makes it all worth it. That's what you do it for. So Virgos, keep being Virgos, because you and Pisces, us and Pisces, and a few other ones, we're really cautious. Okay? And that makes us look suspicious. Somebody right now judging you, talking about you look suspicious because you check things out first. You just don't jump right in. You know, they wanted you to go get a mask on. You said, well, what's that gonna do? It doesn't protect me. It doesn't protect you. It means I can't breathe good. You gave a whole bunch of stuff. But they said, how selfish of you to think that you shouldn't have to wear a mask when we're trying to protect the whole population of the world from breathing. How selfish are you to think that you should be able to breathe? What gives you the right to breathe? Okay. So now what I want you to focus on here, because I want to show you something, because when I was telling people early on, hey, look, it starts with the mask today. What are you risking tomorrow? Once they realized that everybody, when they made it an option that people can either wear the mask or not, and they saw 47% of the people say, oh my God, I'm scared. I'm going to go buy a mask. I'm going to put a mask on. I'm going to cut this shirt up. I'm going to tie this shirt around my face and look like a fool. They said, hey, now that we got those 40%, we can force those 40%, or we can condition those 40% to force the remaining ones into complying due to shame and normative social influence and threats. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to work without it. You can't feed your family, and you know all this. The threats. Some places are fining people. Some places are putting people in jail. You know what I mean? Threats. But when you look in the background of what's actually going on, your human rights include the right to life, liberty, freedom of slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, freedom of the right to work, freedom of education, and many more, as it says here, from the United Nations. Right? But they telling you can't go to work, you can't go to school, you don't have an opinion. How dare you express yourself? Is that not cruel and unusual punishment? I don't know. It says torture up there, and it's talking about slavery. But let's get into what this has evolved into on a global scale, because if it works there, or if they're pushing it there, you gotta ask yourself, how long before it comes here? And I just wanted to know for all the people that was like, no, you should wear a mask, and there ain't nothing wrong with wearing a mask for all these reasons. Do it for others and don't think about yourself. I want to know what they got to say when they see this. Because, see, I already know what's going to happen. The human mind justifies what it wants to believe. So it's going to be several groups of people that, if you haven't already seen this, you're going to have several groups of versions of perspective. You're going to have the people that are like, yes, this is exactly what we need so we can go back to the normal way, which ain't nothing normal about changing everything and having something new. That's not normal. But, you know, these are the minds that you're dealing with. They're calling something totally different going back to normal. Rocket fucking science, right? Then you're going to have the people that are in the middle. They don't know. They don't care. They're just going to go along with it, or they're just going to pretend to go along with it as far as they can pretend. But see, here's where it gets catchy. You know, you got the people that's talking all this smack. Oh, I don't want to wear a mask either. And then, you know, okay, I need to wear this. Okay. And then as soon as nobody is around, they just taking their stuff off. But they never said, you know, this is something that is against life itself. You know what I mean? They just kind of trying to skate around it, which I guess is, you know, they're going to take it all, that's cool, but they never really fought for the right to be human. You see what I'm saying? They're just kind of like sneaking around doing a sneaky ass shit, and I don't like, you know, don't be sneaky about shit. I ain't never had to sneak about nothing. Look, I don't do titles. I ain't never had to, why you gotta lie? You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to wear it, if everybody stood up and said, I don't want to wear this shit, and we shouldn't have to, then the things would be totally different right now. But no, that's another conversation. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just speaking truths. If everybody stood up and said they didn't want to wear it, things would be different. I'm not saying it would be good and or bad, but it would be different. All right? I would rather see what different it is, being able to not have to worry about getting into an altercation with somebody because you ain't got a mask on and you wind up shooting that person in defense of yourself because you don't got time for bullshit and you don't have patience, and then they want to blame you for defending your human rights because, you know, how dare you want to breathe? Like, what the fuck is this? Anyway, so look, check out this. Let's look at this real quick. It's like 2-3 minutes. And I want you to pay attention to the human right aspect of this, because remember, you have supposedly the human rights, unless you don't say nothing about it. See, when you acquiesce and you just go along with it and then you try to force everybody else to, there's something wrong with you for wanting to be free. You shouldn't want to be free. You shouldn't want to breathe. You're wearing a t-shirt that says, I can't breathe, remember? So put your mask on. So you can't breathe either. All right? What the fuck? So look, your human rights is, one more time real quick, because there's more of them than this. Go look it up on at your leisure, at your free time. But the right to life and liberty, freedom of slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, right? Not wearing a mask, at the very least, is your expression and opinion on how you feel about the pandemic. The right to work. Oh, you can't come to work unless you're wearing a mask. That's education. Schools is closed because mask. And many more. All right, so let's check this out. Right? Now, this is what's going on over in Ireland. Okay?
Health Passport Ireland is created to protect our society and our economy. Built in Ireland by the RockU Group, the system uses the very best.
Now, it's Ireland today, but it could be your neighborhood tomorrow. Now, think about the human rights conversation. I don't care if you pro human rights or not. Just common sense it out for me for a moment. Does this conflict with human rights? I don't want to tell you it does or it doesn't. You know where I stand already. But let's look at this.
COVID-19 testing, combined with the latest mobile technologies. Combined with the latest mobile COVID-19 testing, combined with the latest mobile technologies. Health Passport Ireland is powered by proven and validated systems, allowing us all to take safer steps in our return to our normal way of life.
So it's saying it's powered by proven systems. And I don't know about y'all, but the last I heard is they still ain't got the test right. You had the country in Africa send in tests from a fruit that came back positive. So they said they don't want to be part of it. You know what I mean? And a goat, they testing goats and fruits and getting positive results. You know what I mean? So apparently they ain't worked out all the bugs yet, first of all, to begin with. But listen to the, all my marketing people out there that's doing business cards, that's shooting videos, that's doing marketing online. Listen to the sales pitch and the connection to the emotional attachments of all of this is so that we can get back to our normal lives, right? Right? And anybody that doesn't want to do this is just, they're against that, right?
Here's how it works. With Health Passport Ireland, everyone can now be tested for COVID-19 at any time.
So you're gonna have to get tested. When and if this hits your neighborhood, if you were on the fence about getting tested, you got parents up in Massachusetts protesting for the forced vaccination for the kids to return back to school. So you see where I'm going? Let's go.
Which helps to protect you, your family, at any time. Which helps to protect everyone can now be tested for COVID-19 at any time. Which helps to protect you, your family, our jobs, and our economy. Your COVID-19 test will be performed with highly accurate serological or swab tests. Your test is performed by a medical professional. After your COVID-19 test, an authorised healthcare administrator creates your Health Passport Ireland account.
So, what about the people that ain't got insurance or a cell phone, a smartphone, old people that don't use technology like that? You're if you can't afford to go to the doctor right now, whether you got insurance or not, and now all of a sudden you're gonna have to take your family of 6 people and get them screened and possibly pay for a test at least once. But wait till you see the kicker. You're gonna have to do it multiple times. It's like a subscription. Hold on, let's get to it. Like just think about this stuff. Think about how tight things are for some people right now. They wouldn't even let you in the dentist or the hospital before. Oh, but now everybody comes so we can get this money. Okay, hold on, let's get back to it.
Your login details will be emailed to you immediately with a link to download your Health Passport mobile app. The authorised healthcare administrator securely updates your COVID-19 test results in your Health Passport. Once activated, you can easily display your COVID-19 status on your mobile. Your Health Passport can be scanned if you wish, which helps protect those around us.
It can be scanned if you wish. Yeah, that's a nice way to say you already have to scan that joint to go everywhere, or you ain't going nowhere. If you wish to go somewhere, you're going to have to scan it. So that means you're going to need it. It's going to be checkpoints. Okay.
COVID-19 status will efficiently display as green, amber, or red, dependent on your test results. This allows us to go about our daily activities in a safer way. We can all use Health Passport Ireland in many ways.
Now watch this. Remember what I was saying about the human rights? Right to travel, right to this, right to work, right to do all this. Listen to how they break this down as to how this is going to help you.
Safer way. We can all use Health Passport Ireland in many ways, such as travel, hospitality, education, healthcare, construction, offices, entertainment, visits, and much, much more.
Basically, everything you think you ever wanted to do in life, you're going to now need Health Passport to do. All right? You see this? You see where they going with this? All because, how did we get here? Because somebody was upset with you for not wearing a mask.
Naturally, the validity of your COVID-19 test will expire over time, so an automatic reminder will be sent when it's time to be tested again. Your status will move to amber when your test period has expired. Health Passport Ireland does not use Bluetooth or track your location. This preserves your privacy.
Yeah, okay.
The systems can work in harmony with existing government contact tracing apps.
We're not going to track you, but the system will work in harmony with existing government tracing apps. I don't know. I ain't the smartest. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
When a vaccine becomes available, your official vaccination status can also be displayed within your health passport. You can even keep a diary of your international travel and events you have attended.
Your vaccine status will be displayed, and you can even keep a diary. They make it sound like it's an option, right? Until it's not.
Health Passport Ireland can be linked to existing secure medical systems if required. For example, at your GP or hospital. You can visit www.
Anyway, check out the rest of that, right? And just very interesting stuff there that's coming to a city near you. Quite likely. Okay. What do you think about that? How do you feel? I mean, they just you know what I'm saying? Like what I really blame the people that was yelling at you in April about not wearing a mask. You know what I'm saying? Because now they grade track everywhere you going. You can't go nowhere without a health pass on your cell phone, and it decides when you are sick and when you're not sick. The one in China, they got one out in China that actually keeps track of the people you done been around somehow, and when you go to these places, it'll show them a color code, or their color code is based on also showing whether per your contacts and places you've been. So if you went into a certain area that has a high quote unquote infection rate, right? So if you've been in an area with a high infection rate, which I wonder what they're going to label those as, it can actually say, hey, you know, you need to be self-quarantined, even though you may not be showing any symptoms. And you won't be, you technically, this is the one in China that's already out, you technically shouldn't be outside or shouldn't be out moving around unless you have a green. Like if your joint was yellow over there, it means like you need to self-quarantine until it turned green again. Like how does your cell phone know how you feel? Right? So that's that. You know what I mean? That's just one aspect of what's going on right now. You know, the Virgos try to tell y'all, Pisces try to tell y'all, you know what I'm saying? But you know how they don't want to listen, y'all. So this is for my Virgo. This is for my cautious people out there that, you know, while everybody else is distracted about Biden and Trump, BLM and Antifa, this is what you've been focused on. This is what you've been preparing for, because this is going to be the real conflict. Because it just depends on how you feel about your human rights. And if you're willing to sacrifice them for a trip to Walmart, then get to know the people around you. That's all I'm saying. All right. So this is a good time to clear all of those people out of your circle. If you still got them there, they're going to be very dangerous really soon, because they're going to be the ones making these calls on you, trying to get a little reward coin, Bitcoin, little reward status change on their health pass. You know what I'm saying? By throwing you under the bus. Okay? So be aware of who's around you and just phase those people out now. Okay? So, some of these 48 laws of power stuff here is what's going on. Like, the key to power, then, per this first quote here, is the ability to judge who is best able to further your interests in all situations. Keep friends for friendship, but work with skilled and competent. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on right now. Like, the people that are in their mind, in their perspective, are angry about something, or are paying attention to the people that are angry about something, that want to go, and they're gonna want to meet them, right? So that's why you got this group showing up for a protest and this group meeting them, right? Because they're focused on the duality of this coin here, right? But that coin might just be a distraction so that y'all waste. So if you in war, right? If you have a person or you have a country deplete all of their resources going in the wrong direction, by the time you drop the bomb on them, they'll be so depleted they won't be able to defend themselves against the attack. They may not even see it coming because they've been so focused on this other thing over here. They've been so distracted. So then you keep your friends for friendship. Well, I don't do titles, so I don't have friends. I don't have friends. I got people that want to acquire and reach the same destination, and that may be for today because maybe they change their minds next week and they see a coin and they get off the paths. They whatever. People are people. You gotta let them be who they are, right? So, but work with the skilled and the competent. All right. So never be distracted by the second one says, never be distracted by people's glamorous portraits of themselves and their lives. Search and dig for what really imprisons them. So I don't care if you Biden or Trump or Black Lives Matter or Antifa or whatever, you're falling into this glamour of whatever the image is that's being sold to you. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but I will ask you, have you done any research on what they really actually are? And do you even have a destination that you've decided on to know where you're trying to get to or where you're going, so that if that situation is a benefit, an asset, or something else to your own destination? See, because just like I said here, it was all fun and games about let's wear these masks. You ain't even know better than nobody else until now they taking away everybody's human rights. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see that coming because you were too busy distracted by the glamorous portraits of themselves and their lives, and you didn't search and dig for what really imprisons them and you, potentially. See, he who poses as a fool is not a fool. And the human tongue is a beast few can master. So as soon as they got you with something that you could be emotional about, you went and repeated that shit like a little fucking robot, like a little zombie. You just repeating what you heard. You don't have no understanding of why you really saying it. It's just something that grabbed you and you said, let me go repeat this. Right? That's what really happened. And then that grew, and then you got friends, see, but they're not necessarily skilled or competent. You got friends that wanted to remain in your good sight, or you wanted to remain in their good sight, so now y'all talking about this stuff together, and it spreads. That's how stuff spreads. It's called normative social influence, and because maybe y'all didn't share my video and other people's videos that don't talk about it enough, half the country don't know about it, and they still just be brainwashed, and they don't understand how it's happening to them because they're not skilled or competent in having their own thoughts and protecting them. Right? I mean, that's really the gist of it. So some of y'all, you want to. Some of y'all are doing stuff with the protest. Some of y'all are doing stuff against the protest, and some of y'all are just sitting around saying, "Hey, it ain't happening on our streets, so we're good. We ain't got nothing to worry about." Blah 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 blah. But these things are designed to affect everybody if it affects anybody. So you're watching them tear up cities across the country, around the world, actually. And we're not going to question how they feel, because obviously it's obvious how they feel. I think we could say that I personally would provide a destination for us to focus all of our energy and effort onto, which I've done. And if you got an outfit like BLM that's got access to maybe $1 billion by now, right? You kind of gotta give. I don't know how he did it. I would like to know how he did it, because if you've been following me, you know that I'm like a fan of going and buying like a small town and building that thing up from scratch and growing it into a city where you can set the rules, the laws, and the culture, and do this thing right from scratch. So what I was referring to was Akon. He got the funding for $6 billion. Now I seen the pictures for it, and I'm like, not hating on him, but that's not that image is way more than $6 billion. But with $6 billion, you can create a very, very nice beginning, high-tech environment to grow some stuff with. You know what I'm saying? And whether it's backed by China and how China's setting everybody up for economic collapse in the future so they can confiscate, that's another question there. But he's giving them a shot. So when you look at a person like Akon, I would lean more towards being Akon than I would a BLM founder. Because like I said, if you got access to all this money and all you're doing is sending people around in circles tearing up stuff, you haven't given them nothing to build, to work towards. So after they get tired of tearing up stuff, what are they going to do? They got to return back to the destruction that's left. You're setting them up for failure. Anyway, that's another discussion. We'll get into that. I've already got into that. So, but for the people that just standing by, it's not affecting me. Well, you're wrong, because that damage is going on. People are, because of COVID-19 pandemic. Everything's changing, right? So you might be. I know people that I told, don't buy a house right now, and they went out and bought a house anyway because they looking at Pasha like, what does Pasha know? He's in an apartment. I'm in an apartment for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just the smart thing to do. But look, they went and bought a house. So now what's gonna happen is, let's say you maxed out. A lot of people don't just buy within their means. They buy with, if something drastically changes, they're not gonna be able to maintain that comfort, that quality of life, that ease of lifestyle. Something's got to give, right? And if it gives too much, then you're gonna have to start cutting back on something, and then everything's affected, right? My point is this. So for the people that sit there saying how it's not going to affect them, let's take a couple moments and look at that, because it damn sure is. So your local, this is what you're used to. Your local, state, or federal government laws may change, causing property taxes to spike or go up. The value of your neighborhood could rise, a sign of a real estate market starting to recover, or your county reassesses the value of the land area, blah, 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 all that good stuff, right? You guys have an idea what you think causes property tax to go up. But in this case, with everybody leaving big cities, well, maybe you don't know that, but a lot of people are leaving major cities. They're just flat out leaving states altogether, like New York, California, and they're going to what they perceive as lesser markets. Okay, so what that's gonna do is, like things are costs is gonna change for a lot of stuff. Like, okay, so the riots, so to speak, wasn't in your particular neighborhood, but just using this here as an example. Okay, so many American cities experience violence. Minnesota, it says 20 cities had 270 businesses that were vandalized, looted, or damaged, right, in one weekend. So ask yourself, how many total businesses are there in the Twin Cities? What percentage is 270 of them to be vandalized, looted, or damaged? You know what I mean? Then it mentions Miami, Eugene, Oregon, Los Angeles, Santa Monica all suffered this, so we know it's around the country, right? So my thing is, what's that gonna do for your insurance rates, right? Oh, okay, I'm posh, I ain't gonna go up that much, right? Okay, yeah, sure, you're right. But then these stores don't reopen, and now you can't go down the street and buy food. You gotta go 10 miles away to the local big box store that happened to survive or had enough money to put their doors back up and get some stock in there. But now prices go up because, of course, you gotta replenish, the cost of all the lost goods. You know what I mean? So now you're gonna have to travel further, and your cost of individual products goes up, etc. Right? So it's gonna cost you there too. Okay, so all stuff that I'm sure you've considered, while you're out there just supporting and all this good stuff, right? So then, okay, so let's see here. It says broke all the cabinets, everything was shattered. They broke the humidifier, they broke into the office, broke the safe, and blew out one of our security cameras. This right here is something to think about, because now, when this is inviting all the new security cameras that they want to put up anyway. Like when you guys don't understand this fake face recognition system. Anyway, so let's see what else we got. So that, just think about that. He said the riots cost almost $5, and this is probably only still referring to that weekend. So he said those riots cost almost $5 billion in economic activity measured in lost sales over 10 years. And, well, they've been going on for a whole year. So what do you think this number in reality really is, and how long of a period of time are you really talking about your local and national economy is going to be affected by it? Because it's only you that is going to be affected by it in some way, shape, or form. The wealthy ain't disturbed by this. They can the wealthy can afford to pay $20 a gallon for gasoline to put in their Rolls Royce. It's not going to bother them. So, like it says here, if people don't feel safe where their businesses are, then they don't feel the need to rebuild, which is why a lot of businesses are leaving New York and other places, because what's the point in rebuilding? That's where they're at thought rise. All right, so check that out, or do your research on that, for those of you that are interested. And we'll move on to this, because with the economic conditions, we know people struggle. Some people struggle more than others some people have lost their jobs completely. Some people, households have been affected in a financial way. Let's say it like that, right? So now you're still thinking about how, oh, it's not bothering us here, we're good, living the best life, all this blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. Cause guess what? All those people that are on forbearance, it's coming up on the end of that, right? Now they may actually need more time. They may actually qualify for the extended hardship, and they'll get what, another 180 days, that's 6 months, right? Something like that. So, what I'm getting at is, so we're looking at a situation where y'all feeling good right now, but between now and April, and let's say June of next year, a lot of people are gonna, unfortunately, not have their homes anymore, which means the housing markets are gonna be flooded with homes for sale. Which, that house you just bought for $400,000, well, it's gonna be worth $212. You know what I'm saying? And you're still gonna owe $400,000 on it. And the dollar isn't going to be what it used to be. And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So with all the people moving around and everything, remember that property tax thing I brought up? Well, chances are taxes are going to go up, because when people move out of property and don't have, and are lucky enough to get into apartments, now there's less property tax being sent to the government to support their little doings. So they're gonna have to raise everything else. So all the other taxes are gonna go up to try to offset what they've lost, potentially, most likely. You know what I'm saying? I know you looking at me, oh, I'm not a psychic and all this stuff. I understand. But tell me the last time I was wrong. Okay, so I put a song out 2018, told y'all this was coming. I was just hoping you had time to prepare. That's why I do this stuff. All right. So chances are your local towns, your cities, maybe even your state is going to raise property taxes and raise all these other taxes because they have lost money coming in somewhere. And then for those that are saying, hey, well, we're not in the big cities, we're out here in such and such small suburb area. Well, guess what? Where do you think the people that's leaving the cities are going to? They're going to be your neighbor, buddy. So you'll see stuff like this coming, where these changes, like this is from Portland, right? We'll get to this in a second. It's called Portland's Residential Infill Project, Re-Legalizing Middle Housing Citywide. So, they used to have this thing where it was like, the home could only be 1,500 square foot on this size lot. Then they said 2,500 square foot. And then 4,400 square feet. And then 6,700 square feet. Now, the thing is, that's just not putting a bigger, more expensive house in the area. That's putting apartments. Now 1,500 goes into 6, like 4 times with some hallway space. So now you got, instead of where you would have just one house, you got a 4 unit apartment with the same square footage if you're lucky. 8 if they cut that in half. They give everybody 750. Now you're where you would have had a house next door, you got an 8 unit apartment complex in the same size lot next door to you. Right? So see, look at what they're going to do here. They're saying that the previous maximum house size was 6,750 square feet. So now that's going to be reduced maximum building sizes for one plexes is going to be 2,500 square feet. So they just took off 4,000. They just reduced the maximum square size by 2/3. So you are living in an area now for certain reasons, certain feelings when you go outside and you can breathe. There's some trees, nature, whatever it is that got you where you're at, right? They're gonna take that maximum square footage and reduce the maximum. That's not saying the minimum. It's gotta at least be this. That's the maximum. So now it went from 6,750 to 2,500. Duplexes are gonna be 3,000, and 3 and 4 plexes are gonna be what looks like 3,500 square feet. So like, they're going to have a 3 and 4 plex that's really only almost half the size of what the original maximum house size was for the same lot. Accessibility dwelling, allows secondary cottages. So here you're going to have a house and they're going to be able to put 2 little houses behind it. And the reason this is important is because I'll tell you in a second here. But, cottage clusters, that's just a nice way to say it's on the same lot. They're going to put 4 smaller houses like they talked about over here. You know what I mean? Little driveway. You've seen them before. You know what they look like, right? So, basement apartments, they're going to let them come into play now. You're going to, what's this sounding like? It's sounding like the big city, right? All right. So, you're going to be able to have a street-facing door. Right? Excuse me. So, family size 4 and 6 complexes with affordability requirements. Okay, so they're going to bring affordable housing in, right? Accessibility, parking. So now you're going to have little parking lots. It's not going to be a yard. It's going to be a paved little area where 6 cars can park in what used to be a front yard. You see what I'm saying? This is what's going to happen in your neighborhood. Not everybody, but some. Hold on a second. This is what happens when you judging everything instead of setting a destination. You judging other people because you think the situation only affects them, and you find out later this tidal wave coming for your neck of the woods too. It may look different than a riot tearing everything up, but this is still gonna affect you as well. This may look different than, hey, can you just wear a mask because now, you ain't gonna be able to go outside some days because your phone telling you you can't. You're not allowed. You're on timeout. Your cell phone telling you're on timeout. You thought you were grown. You telling your kids you grown as woman and man, and they looking at you like, well, why you can't go outside? Or my cell phone said, I gotta wait 2 more days, and so you on punishment. Basically. That's what it sounds like. So this is what's going on in the cities, right? New York, because of the situation with the economic situation, the people, you got a building in New York that's a whole square block, and you got, 1,000 units in that building, and 60% of them ain't been able to pay their rent for 6 months. You in the hole, buddy. If you a private owner and you own that, you in the hole. You in the hole because you still gotta pay for all the utilities to be on for the people that. Well, even the people that aren't paying, they're still there. You're in the hole for a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? You got a loan on the property that you're supposed to be paying. You're in the hole. You still gotta have cash flow to get spare parts when things break, spare washers and maybe refrigerators and stoves and bathroom chains and toilet bowl. Whatever. You in the hole. So what you doing is you just trying to get the fuck out of the situation. You selling that shit for cheap, right? And you're going to come down here and you're going to buy up this lot next door to you. And you're going to put 2 8-unit apartment complexes next to your house. To them, it's smart business. To you, it's an infringement upon your... Oh, wait, did you say something about human rights? Or rights? Oh, now you feel bothered. But let's look at this, right? Because I thought this was interesting too. So, what they're doing here in this particular case, I know this is from 2019, but if you look into 2020, actually any of these big, large properties like um, this is pretty much what's going on with them because the owners want out. And this one just happens to be a condo. And what I thought was unique about this one is they're selling this for $44 million. But what's unique about it is that it's a condo, and they're gonna buy the condos and then convert them, or as it says here, deconvert them into apartments. And that was a unique thing because the way the law is up there in Chicago is that they can't do that unless they have like a certain percentage of people that agree, and it was like 75% of the people that live here has to agree to that. And in this case, 91.8% of the owners voted for the sale. So I don't know all the details, but some condos, it's kind of like owning a house. You're kind of responsible for keeping it fixed up and stuff. So if you having economic trouble too, you may not be afford to maintain, even though it's not a house, you still may not be afford to maintain a condo. So you gotta think some of these 91% of the people are all for this, because then they'll come in and they'll get the benefits of being in an apartment where the tenant is going to be responsible for the maintenance of the property and all this stuff. Some of them just want to get out of that building and or that part of town and or Chicago altogether. So they're like, yeah, let's sell, because without this, we wouldn't be able to. Nobody's trying to buy here right now. But with everything else going on with the housing market, a lot of people are going to be looking for apartments. You got people in your lives that brought this information to you a long time ago. You laughed at them. You should get with them and just tell them thank you. I mean, I'm the type of person that if you tell me something, I'm grateful for it, because especially if it's new information. But you gotta be of a certain mindset to value wisdom. You know what I mean? So that's what you got to look forward to. There's nobody that's gonna be untouched by this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if it's just your food prices that went up. Like, your life is gonna change, and it's all because a mask. That's what I mean. There's a lot of stuff that's put in motion prior to that moment, but how we got here so quickly is because you let someone tell you you had to wear a mask. And even if you snuck around and said, I'm not going to wear it, or whatever you did at work behind people's backs, or whatever you did, you went into the gas station real quick without your mask and you feel like whatever, you didn't fight the fact. If you didn't fight the fact that it was against your rights, you were in support of it. I mean, that's the way I look at it. So that's where I'm gonna stop right now. Okay, guys. So take a look at that. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking to the guy that put the song out 2018 March. The video anyway. The song was out before then, which means, whatever. This is what I was referring to. Welcome to your new normal. You know what I'm saying? But share this video with people that you've been trying to talk to about these topics. Put your comments in there in the bottom below. All that good stuff. Subscribe. Share the content. All that good stuff. Hit the notification bell, because you maybe not know. Maybe you're just finding about this now because you didn't. You weren't subscribed 6 months ago, right? When I was talking about stuff like that then. I'm gonna get out of here. Pasha Pyro. YNet7. Thank you for tuning. The replay.
Pasha Pyro. Nice, so Nagasaki. I see. Going through these pics. Cat buzz card playing fuel Nagasaki. I see all these chips, memories in my celly. Run the sun on a sphere, museum souvenir. Wanna smell my cologne. 8 nights with the moon, looking for the glue that holds us all together. Nights like tonight, everything lasts forever. Even painting some stars on the roof of the sky. So tell me how much time do we have left for this? All the seduction. Cause don't it all end in heartbreak. Everything that we love, pandemics we all celebrate. Rewards are stronger drugs, so I ain't even gotta get away. I'm already gone, and I don't know if there's still time left to defuse this bomb. Not sorry, not excited, so Fukushima. I see. Gaga counters tick. Top speed in the kind of said she got a second to see a sunset in the clouds. Hiroshima in the X5 eyes, a little South Seoul, Korea. No tonight, will never tonight again. So love the night long. It never comes to an end someday. What if it wasn't about you? Bargaining the pain of my radiation. And the stargates on the starways to heaven. I found it all, ending heartbreak. Everything that we love, pandemics we all celebrate. Rewards are stronger drugs, so I ain't even gotta get away. I'm already gone, and I don't know if there's still time left to defuse this bomb. Not sorry, not excited, so. Not sorry, not excited, so. Nagasaki, not sorry, not excited, so. Not sorry, not excited, so. Hiroshima. Pasha Pyro.